What do you want to become when you grow up? It's a question many of us in this room are still trying to answer. It's a question I've answered differently over the years: author, neurologist, lawyer, and as my fellow seniors can attest, it's a question that grows increasingly daunting as commencement approaches. But perhaps it's not the right question. Maybe it's time we stop asking ourselves what we want to become and start asking what we want to do. Why do we frame our aspirations in terms of titles and positions, not actions? If we allow ourselves to be consumed by the uncertain future, our present becomes nothing but preparation for the next step. Sometimes we need to raise our eyes and trust our feet. I learned this lesson from a young age. Starting in second grade, I walked to elementary school every day. If my bowl cut and rolly backpack were not enough to make me stand out, I also had a bad habit of staring down at my feet. I carefully calculated my steps the entire way, thinking about where to place my feet to reach my destination. As my parents had clearly failed to socialize me into normalcy, a kind neighbor took it upon herself to intervene. Stopping me one afternoon, she asked why I always walked with my head down. I quickly replied that if I didn't watch where I was going, I might trip or veer off track. With a reassuring smile, she offered an insight that would become a revelation. I did not need to watch my feet while I walked, she said. They'd always take me where I was supposed to go. It's a simple message, but it's one that's easy to lose sight of here at Harvard. Too often, we walk with our heads down, planning each individual step. We are so preoccupied with reaching a destination, we inadvertently lose ourselves. Focused on what we want to become, we forget to be. We convince ourselves that before we can lead a life of purpose, we must attain a certain station. Life is reduced to a checklist of prerequisites for a given position, and our purpose becomes something we'll attend to later, after the checklist is completed. We become so worried about putting the right foot forward that we forget to look up. I'm no different. I fell into the trap myself shortly after arriving at Harvard. In high school, I refused to follow a prescribed path just to get into a top university. But once I stepped onto Harvard's campus, I felt like an anomaly. Everyone else seemed to have spent their entire lives preparing to get here. I had to catch up. Surely my acceptance was due to luck, and I couldn't make the same mistake when it came to applying for law school. I began accumulating leadership positions, raising my GPA, preparing for the LSAT. In doing so, however, I sacrificed the very thing that had made me want to become a lawyer in the first place: advocating for kids, promoting social justice, contributing to my community. My actions no longer reflected a passion for justice, just a desire to get into law school. Once again, I was staring at my feet. Last spring, for the first time since entering Harvard, I stopped and looked up. After spending much of my undergraduate career preparing to write a senior thesis, I opted not to. While graduating with Latin honors might have helped improve my chances of getting into law school and becoming a lawyer, those goals were merely proxies for what I really wanted to do: make a difference in the lives of the people around me. So I enrolled in a field course and partnered with a public school to develop a long-term plan to realize racial integration and equity. Instead of writing about education reform, I am taking part in the reform movement itself. Instead of reading about hypothetical school interventions, I'm working with teachers to institute a culturally relevant curriculum. And instead of staying up until 4 a.m. trying to meet chapter deadlines, I am creating spaces for children to engage in critical conversations about race. This year, I committed to being more present and engaging in work that reflects my values and my passions. Tonight, I invite you to do the same. I challenge you to live now, to embrace the possibilities of the present. I dare you to care more about what you do in this moment than what you become in the next. Do not spend your life staring at your feet, trying to become something, but forgetting to be. Look up, and you will realize you can achieve your aspirations each and every day. Thank you.